Hey guys, what's up? It's Spooks McDog here, Weird Kid Jeff, whatever you want to call me. It's actually going to be my first YouTube video, my first video like this. I'm really excited. I've never done anything like this before. It's just I'm so excited about this trailer they released for the Nintendo Switch, aka the NX. That I'm finally getting around to doing it. I'm just too excited to not at this point. So. Here we are. If you just watched through the trailer, I'll pause and talk about things here and there. Probably talk about things a lot from a technical standpoint. I mean, that's my expertise lies. I'm a tech guy, so I'm extremely excited for this. And there's so much information, especially if you really take the time and look at it. There's just so many little things. So let's just get going. A lot of establishing shots in this trailer for some reason. So they're opening up with Breath of the Wild. That's something we've seen a lot of Breath of the Wild so far. I mean, been multiple instances of gameplay videos. They've shown a lot at multiple trade shows. I mean, Breath of the Wild is a name. There it is. That's where the new hits. The controller. One thing. The controller, it's really cool how it splits like that. I mean, now here's one thing that just doesn't seem feasible to me, is to be able to just be mid-game, just slap those on and pick it up. I don't see that being just a swap and go kind of thing. I mean, there's a good chance of it being like, have to like save or something beforehand. Like I said, a lot of establishing shots. Look at the plane. One thing, I've heard a lot of people talking about this today. I heard a lot of people on campus talking about it. One of the guys at work was talking about the fact that it's going to a cartridge instead of disc. A lot of people were like, "Well, that's gonna gimp the games." I really don't think so, because if you think about it, all the modern cartridges is flash memory with a certain set of pins that goes to the cartridge. You can fit a lot of flash memory on a cartridge these days. A disc, I think a Blu-ray disc, don't quote me on this, I haven't looked at it in a while, I think a Blu-ray can hold like 100 gigs of data, whereas flash memory, you're looking at up to 200 and some gigs, so anybody who thinks that's going to just gimp it is wrong. And also, time has told us, time and our 3DSs and DSs have told us that cartridges are a lot sturdier than discs, so really most other forms of games. I mean, they don't really put them on anything else other than cartridges and discs, and it won't be download only. That's another thing people are like, it's not download only, you'll be able to buy physical games. So I wasn't worried about that, but apparently a lot of other people were. So they're really pushing the social idea. They want people to be playing them in public. Say, see someone in the airport, be like, "Hey, you have this. You want to play?" How awesome would that be? One thing, they're also showing off Skyrim. In the very first trailer for their new console, they're showing off third-party games. They're really taking third-party serious. I'll touch on that more later. I mean, another thing that this shows is that if that is the updated version of Skyrim that's getting ready to release on the PS4 and the Xbone, then that is, then the tablet itself, portable section of the console, rivals the power of the PS4 and the Xbone. The thing about that is, these are based, like, everything that has been told so far, that they're based on a brand new, completely custom NVIDIA Tegra system on a chip based on the Pascal infrastructure. The Pascal infrastructure is what the highly acclaimed 1000 series, GTX 10,000. You got the 1070, 1060, 1080, which the 1070 alone is noted for its price to power ratio. I mean, it's a little bit more powerful than last year's flagship, while being less than half the price, because they're just getting ready for VR. They take that power and apply it to a smaller form factor, lower power. Problem with that, though, is at the same time, if it is that powerful, you have to worry about battery life. That thing is not that thick, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it could possibly be detrimental to the battery life of the system, especially if you're punching out graphics at the same level as an Xbox or PS4. Another thing, they're just straight up telling you like, hey, play this on the go. I mean, if they're selling a car mount, so you can play in the backseat of a car, has a kickstand. I mean, they showed that in the in-flight sequence earlier. They're just really there's a lot of little things about this console, just small things that they're just adding up to make it just mind-boggling. I mean, a kickstand. They included a 3.5mm jack. I'm looking at you, Steve Jobs. Well, so Apple in general. Ooh, spicy. There's just so much going on with it. I'd also like to point out that it showed them detaching the controllers and using them as individual controllers, almost like a Wii remote. The guy in the flight sequence did the same thing. He had two controllers. He took the two sides of the controller and had one in each hand and was relaxing, sitting back with the kickstand. Another thing I'd like to point out is they just showcased another third-party game. So far, we've seen 4 games, 2 of which were third-party. I also forgot to address there's to be showing off a new Mario Kart game, because that didn't look like 8 to me. It may have been, but I don't believe it was. They're basically underhandedly announcing a new Mario Kart game, as well as showing off that third-party developer support, but because that's 2K, so that's a Take-Two subsidiary. Take-Two includes Rockstar and 2K, and then they also Bethesda ID, all of their other subsidiaries and developers. This looks like a new 3D Mario game, more in the vein of Sunshine than what we've been seeing with the 3D lands and 3D worlds. So that's what I get from looking at it, but that's a split-second clip. That is a lot to take from. Also, if you notice, down here, there's a bunch of amiibos. That could mean something, it might not. It's too soon to tell, really. But it could potentially mean they're continuing amiibo support. That would be cool, because I know a lot of people like amiibos. I only have a couple. That's just because I have a thing for a couple characters. It's nothing to worry about. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. So there could be an underhand message, or it's just they wanted to just put some of their shit in there. I might be reading a little too far. Who knows? Also, who yells at people from across a rooftop? Like, just use your phone. It's 2016. Continue with the 2 halves of the controller as separate controllers. This segment's also really interesting. They're really pushing towards the gamer here, esports, the market. So here's the thing: esports are typically dominated by PC. A couple games I think are on PS4, Halo, Xbox exclusive. So this is interesting that they are really showing. Another thing they did was they put women in esports environment, which is not very common, which is just really progressive, which I thought was kind of cool. Who really gives a fuck? It's a promo. Whereas, the thing is though, advertising does have a lot of effect on people, so that could maybe even affect some younger people in the audience. Who knows? They're also basically announcing Splatoon as a launch title. So, as of right now, we basically got a little bit of influence there for us. So we've got Breath of the Wild, basically. Now, I'm going to take it as these games are probably going to be launch titles. I mean, they're launching with the trailer. I mean, they're more likely going to launch with the system. Let's see, we've got Bethesda on board as far as Skyrim. So we've got Breath of the Wild, Skyrim. We've got Mario Kart. We've got a new Mario game that we may or may not know about already. We have NBA 2K. Probably 2K16, maybe 17. I'm not certain really. I don't keep up with basketball, especially not basketball-based video games. Then we've got Splatoon, so that's 6 games. 33% are third party. A third. So that's for the very first trailer, showing off that much from other developers. That really is just Nintendo showing, hey, we're doing this. We are following through with this. Let's another thing, Nintendo actually released a list of third-party developers. Now, if you look, we've got some of the names that stand out. Namco Bandai, that's not really that much of a surprise. I mean, they did work on Smash Bros. It might also mean there's a rumor that Smash Bros. Is going to be ported as a launch title. That may help that, but I don't really want to draw that kind of conclusion. Yeah, Bethesda we saw with Skyrim. Atlas, a lot of people I know are talking about Atlas. I even heard somebody say that what if Persona 5 ends up releasing on Wii? I mean, not Wii U, on the Switch, the NX. We'll call it the NX. It won't like that. It's my dad's name. A lot of these are people who work on engines like Cryware, Havoc, Unity, Epic Games. They're really working on getting their shit covered. Like, hey, we work with these guys to get their shit running on our console. It'll be easier for people to port. We'll be more likely to get third-party support that way. See, we've got Telltale Games, Travelers. I know they're the guys who do the Lego games. I said Take-Two, that's Rockstar, 2K. I think they have one other subsidiary, but I'm not 100% certain. Konami, yeah. They're gonna release the Max Pachinko machine digitally. Capcom. There's Platinum Games there, so probably Bayonetta's probably gonna get ported. Sega, naturally. Square Enix, don't know what that's gonna be. Possibly something Final Fantasy related. No. Ubisoft, of course. THQ Nordic. Okay. From Software. A lot of people think that with From Software showing up on there, that we're likely to see a Dark Souls 3 port. Here or there, depending on how well it's ported. And there's just a lot of information here. EA Codemasters, that means we're probably going to see the Dirt games on here. The other Codemasters racing games, I'm not sure what all else they do. This is a lot to dig into on this alone. I mean, Activision, that means we could potentially see some of the big shooters from Activision, some of the Call of Duty games on here. I mean, I don't give a shit about the Call of Duty games, but they drive sales. So I'm not going to complain. I'm honestly amazed that they still drive sales at this point. I thought they were universally hated by now, but that's not an opinion. That's opinion, not facts. So there's just so much going on here. There is so many different things being announced. There's just this trailer and just this image just tell us so much underhandedly without saying, hey, look at this, and this. They give us half informations, really. They're not trying to mislead us, they're just not giving us everything. I mean, we're 5 months out, which for a console release, this kind of information, this close, is kind of late. But at the same time, they got so much free publicity just off of people wondering. And so they didn't need to do anything before now. Also like to point out that a lot of their marketing in there wasn't towards families as a home system, as it has been in the past. I mean, Wii U was marketed as a family device. Here they seem to be very strongly focusing on gamers. I mean, between people going home, sitting down playing video games, esports, that's big. That was a big thing in there. Nintendo's never been that big on esports. The fact that they show that in the very first teaser trailer for this console means that they're probably going to be making a push in that field. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Nintendo trying to sponsor their own Smash tournaments or Splatoon tournaments to try to just build that up. But we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I'm no fortune teller. As I said, there's a very good chance I'm digging too deep, but any little thing can mean something. So this is my very first made specifically for YouTube video, other than a couple of shitty memes. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you like the way I think about things, the way I look at things. And if you really liked what you saw, hit that subscribe. I'm going to be trying to do videos like this way more often. And I hope you just have a good rest of your night. And hopefully, I'll see you back here next time I make a video. If I make a video, I want to. I'll try for you. Yeah, that's how that's done. Just you. I wouldn't cheat on you.